Hello, hello, and thank you for joining us tonight for our discussion of micro water, alkaline water, structured water. It's known by many different names, ionized water. Tonight, for the sake of simplification, I'm going to call it micro water simply because that was the name I knew it by when I very first started drinking this water way back in the 90s. Now, this is an ionizer unit, a micro water unit. It will do many things to the water, but one of the things that it is not a purification unit. It does not purify water. It does not clean water. There is a small carbon filter in the unit. And if you're fortunate enough to live where the water supply is very clean, that small carbon unit may work for you. I live in Phoenix, Arizona, home of some of the worst water in these United States of America. We commonly find water with over 500 TDS in it here in the Valley of the Sun. Now, the EPA tells the municipality they're supposed to deliver the water to us at under 500 TDS, but I have seen it even up into the 900 TDS ranges here. If you try to operate this unit in that type of water, number one, you're going to get a very poor tasting water, and number two, the unit probably is not going to last you a long time. Now, we've solved the problem here in Phoenix simply because we purify the water before we run it through here. And even if your unit does quit working, I used to take the units and clean them for people, and I could regenerate them and get them working again. But it was a perpetual problem, and one that was solved with the use of a reverse osmosis unit in front of the unit. Now, if you're familiar with micro water and you're watching this, right away you're going to say, well, that's not going to work, because if you RO the water, you're taking all the mineral out of the water, and the electrolysis unit has nothing left to charge. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, let me tell you about the RO, why it's a good way to clean your water, why you should use the RO before your micro water unit. Number one, the headline today, just another headline. This one was from the fair state of Colorado, and it said, carcinogens found in drinking water. You know, we've almost become just a little blanked out anymore when we hear that, because we're always hearing it. You know, something bad was found in the water. We go, oh no, not again. And we're just about as blanked out when we hear the neighbor across the street has got cancer. You know, it's so common anymore. So if you're one of those people that want to be proactive about your health, the name of our company is Charisma Culture. Charisma means gifts. We're trying to put all of the gifts back into the culture, and that way we have a healthy, vibrant life. Now, this is just one of the gifts. Micro water is just one of the gifts. It takes many different things to stay healthy. This is not a panacea. It's not going to do everything for you, but it's one of the things that can help you. Now, to the RO, taking the carcinogens, taking the contaminants out of the water. One of the things that you have to understand about water purification is that contact time is of the essence. If you stick a tiny little filter on the end of your faucet and turn it on and think you're purifying your water, your contact time is a couple of seconds, and that's it. It has no time to work. If you're using the carbon filter in this unit, it makes about a gallon a minute. Your contact time is 1 minute. When you use a reverse osmosis unit, it goes through multiple stages. Now, there's several different types of ROs out there. All of them work equally about as well. Some more expensive than others, some have other features than others, obviously. I'm just going to show you one type here. They're all pretty much universally the same, they just look different. They start out with a sediment filter. This takes the dust and the debris out of the water that comes floating in there that you can't see it. Then it goes to what we call a carbon filter, a chlorine remover, a fluoride remover, the beginning stages of fluoride removal. And I know some people will say you can't ever take the fluoride out of the water once it's put back in. And probably to a definitive point you cannot. But you can take a lot of it out with the different things that we do. I had a 4x4 membrane, 2 of those set up in series at a water store, and I had one gentleman that was extremely concerned about fluoride in the water. And so I did a panel on the water, and it came back and it said negative fluoride in the water as per that panel, which meant that it was within EPA guidelines. So he asked if I would be offended if he took some of my water and sent it to a lab for a definitive study to see if there was any fluoride left in the water. I said absolutely not. He sent the water in, and it did come back with fluoride in it, but you know, it was like 6 or 7 points to the right of the decimal. So we had done a real good job of getting most of that fluoride out of the water. The carbon gets some of it. Here's the piece of equipment that gets most of it. Oh, this is your reverse osmosis membrane. It only lets water through. It's a semi-porous material here. It creates what they call shear. The bad stuff goes one way, the H2O goes the other way. Now, when you use a unit like this in your home, this particular membrane will make about 50 gallons a day. And you say, well, that's plenty of water for me. And that's true. It is. You'll never drink that much water in a day. But remember, when we're talking a day, we're talking 24 hours. So we're coming back. This is making 2 gallons an hour. So you have to understand you do have some limitations. If you want to fill up all the kids' coolers before the ball game, you're probably going to run a little short with the storage tank. But you see, that's what I'm talking about contact time. When you operate this unit using this piece of equipment, you're operating out of a storage tank. There's just ounces per minute dropping into that storage tank. And so you've got plenty of contact time to do a real good job of removing the contaminants. This particular unit is a 4-stage unit, and after it comes out of the storage tank, the pressure tank, it goes through another carbon to liven the water back up again. Now, we have taken that water in most scenarios, not all scenarios, but in most scenarios, down to near 0 TDS with this unit. And if you were to run a 0 TDS water through the micro water unit, you wouldn't be getting micro water. You wouldn't be getting ionized water. You have nothing in there to ionize. One of the arguments, there's many arguments against RO that I hear from people, but just let me cover a couple of them for you real quickly to put your mind at ease. Number one, for you tree huggers out there, they say ROs waste too much water. You didn't tell them that there's 4 gallons of water going down the drain for every 1 gallon of water that goes into the storage tank. This is true. 4 down the drain, 1 into the storage tank. However, you have 2 choices here. You can take those contaminants that are going down the drain and put them in your body and suffer the consequences. Or you can put them down the drain and the word waste comes in. You've wasted the water. Well, again, let's go back to our definition here. Yes, you've wasted the water from the standpoint that you had to pay for 5 gallons of water to drink 1, and if you're paying for it in most municipalities, you're charged 3 or 4 points to the right of the decimal system per gallon. So, you know, the cost of getting rid of the contaminant wasn't great. And number 2, we live in a closed system. I'm talking about our atmosphere. No water's leaving. It's all still here. I don't know how many gallons of water were on the earth and in our atmosphere yesterday, but exactly the same amount is here today. You put a gallon on the stove, you turn it on, you steam it all away, it's gone. You know, it rained down someplace else. So we're losing no water, so all you tree huggers, put your tree hugger mind to sleep here. We're not wasting water.